Hello everyone, Crow here. About a week ago, Protaku put up a video that he called My History as a Gamer, and at the end of it, he basically wanted to hear other people's gaming histories. So I figured I'd throw mine in there as well. Now, there's a lot to cover, and I hope I could fit this in the time allotted, so I got myself a little cheat sheet just to kind of fly by things. Now, okay, just to start, I was born in the late 70s, so as far as I can remember, everybody had an Atari 2600. My family had one, all my relatives had one, even my grandparents had one. So basically that's what I remember earliest playing was Atari 2600, and some of my favorite games on that system were like Chopper Command, Kaboom, Circus Atari, and even though it sucks by today's standards, I used to love video pinball. Now, I used to play that for, many years until we got a Commodore 64. My uncle actually had a Commodore 64 first, and for some reason he got his hands on a few of them. So he gave one to my dad, and eventually I got my own. So yeah, I consider Commodore 64 to be kind of like a gaming computer. I remember playing more games on that than anything else. Favorite games on that were like Racing Destruction Set, which was this cool game where you split screen racing, where you could build your own tracks. I used to love building my own tracks in that. Mail Order Monsters, where you could build your own monster and kind of battle them out, earn more money, and buy more upgrades for your monster. And of course Archon, which was a kind of like a chess kind of game. It didn't really play like chess, but it appeared like chess. But the great thing about that game was when you wanted to take over another square, you actually had to fight the other guy for it. So that was a great game. And the funny thing about those three games is they were all by Electronic Arts. So and they came in these kind of like these small folder type, like a vinyl record would come in that flipped open. Those were great. So I had a Commodore 64 for many years, and then eventually I noticed all my friends at school had NESs, and after seeing that, I needed to get an NES, and I kind of begged and begged and begged. And the funny thing about that was that I kind of went to my grandparents' house, which was in Upper Michigan. It was another state. I was there for maybe a week or two, and when I got home, they had gotten an NES at a flea market, and I just kind of walked in there, and I was like, we got an NES, and kind of had to start playing it immediately. I mean, I remember some of the games we got weren't so hot at first, like Friday the 13th and Jaws even, but we did have like Super Mario Brothers, and I did get like Super Mario Brothers 2 and Super Mario Brothers 3. I got that for Christmas. We had a whole slew of games. One of my favorite games on that system was Battletoads. That game was hard. I remember it took me like 3 months just to get past the Speed Biker level. I never did officially beat that game, but I did manage to beat it with a Game Genie, which was hard enough as it was. So that was all fun. And I remember when the Game Boy came out, I was kind of asking for one, and eventually my mom bought me one. And so with the Game Boy, I was always playing Tetris, and eventually my sisters got it, and we'd play each other with the link cable. So that was all well and fun. Then Super Nintendo came out, and I had been asking for that. I even went so far as to try and save my own money for a Super Nintendo. But that, even though I did have a job at the time, I was my very first job working at as a caddy at the country club. Almost all my money would go right into the arcades back when every single mall had an arcade. In fact, sometimes I wouldn't even go to work. I'd go to the arcade and spend $5 on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game or the Simpsons game or pinball. it's a shame that those arcades are pretty much dead. I mean, I can only think of one arcade around me right now, and the games aren't really well maintained at all. You kind of have to go to like GameWorks or Dave & Buster's to play some decent arcade games. But you just can't run out and somewhere close by and play arcade games anymore. I kind of miss that. But yeah, eventually we did get a Super Nintendo, and some of the first games we got for that were Super Mario World that was bundled in. Played that like crazy till it was beaten. Pilot Wings. Almost beat that. I don't recall ever passing the last mission. We also got Lemmings, and the reason we got Lemmings is because my uncle actually bought the Super Nintendo, and I used to play Lemmings on his PC all the time, so he bought that on his Super Nintendo. We had a ball with that. If I recall correctly, it was the only version of Lemmings that had a two-player mode. Then, around 1995, I went into the military. I was in the Air Force. So I left basically all the systems we had behind. But after boot camp, I got out and I was in a technical school, and I wound up buying an SNES again. But I noticed that this was like early 1996. Some of the people in the dorms had PlayStation, because they had just come out. And I remember watching Battle Arena to Shinden, and that game looked awesome. So, about a month later, I bought my own PlayStation. One of the first games I got for that was Wipeout. And, I love the PlayStation. I probably still have the original PlayStation I bought, though it doesn't work. I've gone through 3 PlayStations since then. The current one I have is modded to play import games. After that, I played, since I was in the you would think that being in the military I'd have no time for games. If anything, I played the PlayStation more than anything. In fact, in this footage in the background, they're from these videotapes that I made. Let me backpedal a little bit. I used to go to this rental store that was on base, and I used to rent a game, and it used to be like $1 a day for the game. Well, I used to rent a game every day, and I just record it and kind of edit the footage on 2 video tape cassettes, because I had 2 VCRs at the time, and it was just kind of a hobby of mine, and it's something I'm starting to pick up again on YouTube. If you notice my quick clip videos, that's basically where those started from. I ripped the footage directly from here, but the video quality is really poor, and I don't really want to do that. But I have six videotapes of these, 6 2-hour videotapes. I think there's like 175 PlayStation games on there. That's pretty much how many games I played, and I don't know how I had so much time. I played through like Final Fantasy VII 3 times. I played through Persona 6 times. I don't know where I had all that time. I wish I had that time now. Looks like I'm running out of time, so I'm gonna have to speed up a little bit. I got a Nintendo 64, bought off a friend. I really didn't like it so much, so I actually gave it to my dad. Did play through Super Mario 64, Mario Kart, and I was really into those remake games. Mario Kart was alright, but for some reason I was like the only one in the world that didn't really like the 3D Mario. And I guess I was kind of upset that they didn't come out with another 2D Mario. But it's okay. It's an alright game, I guess, but I wasn't into it at all. And after I was in the Air Force, went into NIU, went into these LAN parties, and it kind of evolved into this gaming night where I used to go every Friday night and game with these guys, and that's where I kind of have my current group of friends right now. They all came from that. Just going from there, I got the PS2. I got that on launch day, actually. I reserved it way back, like 8 months in advance. And I got that on launch day. I played the hell out of that, too. Never had a Dreamcast, though. I never really looked forward to it. Got the Game Boy Advance, the Game Boy SP, just kind of speeding up because I'm running out of time. And when I met my current girlfriend, now my fiance, we're going to get married later this year, she got me back into this collecting phase, and I've gotten tons of games now with her help. She's always looking out for games for me, and I really appreciate that. Well, looks like I'm really out of time here. Thanks for watching. I had to skip over a whole bunch of stuff, but you got the basic idea. Thanks to everybody for watching, Protaku for starting this up, and see y'all next time. Bye.
No fair, you can't flash back to stuff we saw 10 seconds ago!